run it up.
Upscrolled says up yours. And the reason they were made was to give people freedom of speech, especially because the founder is Palestinian, and he's really against the people being censored talking about the war in Gaza. But then you have this fool come on TV and say that they fight disinformation. Take a look.
Things on the platform. We don't allow you to spread disinformation.
We don't allow you to spread disinformation.
Huh?
According to who? You know, I'm sure that was the same guy who was saying if you said ivermectin was a human medicine, he would have said that was disinformation. So everybody's excited about the Upscroll. So TikTok is completely state media run by Israel or Zionists. And so there's this new thing by these Palestine, this guy who lives in Australia, but he...
Just in case you guys don't know what Upscroll is, it's basically like TikTok, alternative to TikTok. And actually, they shot up to 1 million viewers, like our users right away. The number one in the app stores. So they're getting some big notoriety. They're getting more popular. And then this idiot comes out and starts talking about banning disinformation as if that ever helps business.
He's Palestinian, and he quit his job working for big tech because he felt like he was contributing to the evil, because all big tech is involved in the genocide in Gaza. They're all, you know, from Microsoft to Apple to Google. They're all involved, right? It doesn't matter. So this is the guy. Listen to the founder. This is the founder of Upscrolled. He's going to talk about why he created this. So here you go.
Out there, then we're not going to be able to make it too far. I mean, it's great to go out in the street and protest. It's great to gather and talk and share and all that. But if we don't become independent, digitally speaking, with platforms, with products, and then help one another to grow these platforms, we will not be able to get far. And the reason for this, all these big tech, all these politicians talk money, they talk power, talk about control. And we're helping them by using these other platforms. We're profiting them. We're generating money for them. We're making them more powerful every day.
He's saying, so whenever we use Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, we're helping the powerful. That's what he's saying.
That we're by using or scrolling on TikTok or Instagram. I said, let's create a platform. So I dedicated, launched Upscrolled. I've been surprised, to be honest with you, when we launched the platform. The second day, we're starting to see hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands, 20, 30. We know people are looking for an alternative. They're sick and tired of being shadow banned. They understand the pain of posting and not having their content or voice being reached on other platforms. So this is basically what Upscrolled is.
So there it is. Upscrolled is for people who are sick.
So basically what he's saying is all the people keep taking away your speech and all that stuff. You're helping them grow more powerful because every time you use their services, they make more money, and they use that money to shut people's free speech. So he's saying, so I made this app so we can have free speech. And it sounds good at first, but this fool, his partner, will actually shed some light that means they're just like everybody else.
And tired of having the establishment control your speech. That's according to the guy who's developing it. But this guy who worked on it, Paul Bigger, watch your mouth. He's the founder of Tech for Palestine, and I guess he worked on this. And he tweeted out, "Look, it's the top. This new app, Upscrolled, was the number one top of the charts of an app being so." Everybody is hungering for a platform to give us free speech.
Let me clarify. Ever since Larry Ellison bought the American version of TikTok, he has been censoring people crazy left and right. Because they don't want anyone talking about the country that starts with the letter I. So basically, that's why people are starting to leave, and go to other places like Upscrolled.
That's what this is all about, Upscrolled, right? They're not going to shadow ban you. They're not going to... Well, let's listen.
So one of the differences between Upscrolled and between the big tech platforms like Meta and TikTok is that the big tech platforms are really there to protect the powerful from you seeing what goes on in the world. So they'll shut down videos about ICE coming into your communities or about Israel's genocide in Gaza. Upscroll allows you to show what you see.
Well, that's great. Everybody's on board for that. I'm on board for that. Kurt's on board for that. I'm sure everybody's on board for Upscrolled allowing us to show whatever we see. Okay, here we go.
We can show what's going on in the world. We don't do shadow bans, and we don't limit political speech. Shadow bans are what big tech does to hide people who are talking.
So they don't do shadow bans? They don't do censorship.
We don't do shadow bans, and we don't limit political speech. Shadow bans are what big tech does to hide people who are talking.
So they don't do shadow bans? They don't do censorship.
Anyway, so this guy's, what he's saying now is going to be the total opposite of what he says next, but he's saying they're not about shadow banning and stuff like that. But then, if anything, look at that logic. You'd rather go somewhere like YouTube or TikTok where they shadow ban you, but at least you get some viewers. Where this guy's saying he's not going to do shadow bans, but he's going to go after disinformation. So how do you do that unless it's complete, permanent shutdown of your account? At least the other TikTok, at least will have some kind of reach rather than just nothing. But these guys are going to literally shut your account for good because they don't shadow ban. What they do is disinformation. How does that work?
Situations. They just put you in the corner talking to yourself and your friends of the same topic, and they just limit your reach so that other people can't see what you say.
So that's what all the platforms do. They shadow ban you. They put you in a corner so it limits your reach. Freedom of speech, not freedom of reach. Okay. Oh. Okay, here we go. But wait, hang on to
But at the same time, Meta and X are actually really bad for users. They build platforms that are designed to keep you engaged and addicted, and then they don't limit the harms that come from the information on their systems.
Okay, to sum it up, he's saying Meta and YouTube and them, they don't do their job in stopping hate speech or stuff like that on their platforms, so it hurts people. So he wants to be better than them and do that himself. It's like first he said we're all about free speech, then he says, oh, the other platforms they shadow ban you and they're different, but then all of a sudden he says they don't give you enough censorship, so it doesn't make sense.
Wait, so it sounds like he's starting to say another thing here, Kurt. It sounds like he started out saying the bad thing about all those Facebooks, Instagrams, TikTok is they shadow ban you and they limit your reach and they don't let you get your word out and they censor you. But now he's saying that they also, the bad thing about them is that they don't protect you from other people's speech. That's what let me back it up. And I'm pretty sure they don't limit the harms.
And then they don't limit the harms that come from the information on their systems.
Then they don't limit the harms that come from the information on their systems. I'm starting to get my palms are starting to sweat a little that this might not be what it's made out to be. Let's listen a little bit more.
That's how Meta enabled the Rohingya genocide in Myanmar, and that's how X turned into a vitriol shithole.
So he's saying that Facebook enabled the genocide. No, that was me. No, he said Meta. That's how Meta enabled the Rohingya genocide in Myanmar.
In Myanmar, and that's how X turned into a vitriolic shithole.
He's saying because they're not protecting people from the harm of speech.
He's acting like we're children and like, don't talk like that for the kids. You're going to scare them. That's how he's acting. But like basically what he's trying to say is he's God. And that's basically it. Because only he can decide what's considered disinformation, facts. Only he can decide that. So they're going to stop censorship that other platforms are doing by censoring more.
But I thought the whole point of this was free speech and that everybody's a grown-up and everybody gets to decide what speech they want to listen to and what they don't want to listen to. And when you censor someone, you're also censoring my ability to hear that person. Not only are you censoring their ability to speak, you're censoring my ability to hear them. So you're doing two bads at once. And it seems he's saying that Meta did not do enough censoring. That's what he's saying. They're just, in other words, Meta should have did more censoring because they didn't do enough censoring. They enabled a genocide in Myanmar. Really? Okay. So he seems to be saying two totally different, do enough censoring, meaning we're beefing up our censorship.
And until recently.
Amendment. Okay, here we go.
Even when I supported him, I said this when I was supporting him. I know I'm going to be.
And if you hate that speech, that's why you have the First Amendment. Okay, here we go.
Speech. We also don't allow explicit nudity or copyright infringement. Now, Upscrolled is barely 6 months old, and until recently, it had a part-time moderator. And then we blew up. So, obviously...
Unbelievable. He's saying they're barely 6 months old. Well, you know what? Facebook and TikTok, all of them, they were way older than that before they start talking disinformation and censorship. So if this fool's already talking this at that young of a stage, that means God knows what he's up to. And he says it right here. He said that, that since they're new, they didn't have that much moderating, department. But now that they're getting more popular and more time has gone by, they're going to beef up their moderation process, which means you're screwed.
So we're beefing that up. The other thing we're doing is
we're beefing up our moderation, meaning we're beefing up our censorship.
Oh, good. I can't wait for these blob Reddit nerds that from Ireland. God knows what that's going to be.
Here we go.
A trust and safety board. A trust and safety board.
They're building a trust and safety board.
That's good.
Again, I already have one of them. It's called the Constitution of the United States. It's called the First Amendment. And if someone breaks the First Amendment, I don't need a social media platform to go in and police them because we have actual police. We have police and sheriffs. We have attorney general.
It's like he's like saying, oh, our trust and safety board. So basically saying we don't trust you guys. So we want you to trust us and our safety board. Like they don't trust us to be able to hear what we want to hear. Like we're children, but trust them. They'll help us out.
Girls, we have district attorneys, we have all kinds of law enforcement, and if someone goes in there and does something illegal with their speech, they're going to handle it. Here we go.
Thing that big tech used to have. Meta had a trust and safety board that it never really listened to, and X actually shut down its trust.
And I think it's safe to assume, Kurt, that any social media platform is going to be compromised by the same ones who have grabbed up everything else. Do you seriously think that the establishment is not going to grab up everything? Of course they are. Every platform is owned by the establishment. And this one will be too. The establishment has all the religions. They have all the political parties. They have all the news outlets. Why? Because those are the shortcuts to having followers. That's why. They're the ones who created the phrase social influencers.
Anyways, Zionists are basically people who can't make it on their own. They have to sell out, and that's all of them. Anyways, long story short, screw Upscrolled is just more of the same. They don't trust you. You shouldn't trust them. And let's make sure 6 months was 6 months too long for them to have been a company. Do not deal with Upscroll. You'll be heartbroken. All right. Take care, guys.